Hello, this is the Waves of the Chesapeake podcast, a BCD production. I'm your host, Connor Kelly, and behind the camera is director Dylan Kelly. My two guests today are Jacob Green, the man behind Jacob Jasper, and Ryan Webster. You played multiple instruments for him, didn't you?
Yeah.
And you also have your own project coming out at the end of October, correct?
Yep.
And a little fun fact too, both of them are childhood friends dating back to elementary school.
All three of us, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
yeah.
So, how have you guys been?
great, man. Great.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
And I just got to say, he walked in with a 12-pack of Bud Lights,
Yeah.
and I gave him a Twisted Tea, and I knew this was going to be a great podcast.
Yeah.
I mean,
Brought to you by Twisted Tea, Hard Iced Tea.
No. They don't deserve that.
Twisted Tea, yeah, no, I'm not going to lie. Like, that's not the sponsorship I want. Like, Yeti. Hey,
There we go.
Yeti.
Yeti.
I should've
I love my Yeti.
Yeah, man.
Yeti needs more help. Thank you for
Yeah.
helping me out. Yeah, I've been struggling.
And hell, have you ever drinking out of a Yeti?
Yes.
At the
Every day.
beach. At the beach.
Dude,
no, I don't
100
do it.
degrees out.
Dude.
Yeah.
I mean, all day it will
Beer-
stay cold.
Beer
All day it will
stays
stay cold.
ridiculously cold.
You don't
in
have to
those
put
things.
ice in it, dude. Yeah.
It stays
put-
ridiculously
yeah,
cold.
Yeah, you just put it in there.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So, going back to Jacob Jasper, you had an album just come out, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool. A lot of people worked on it, which was awesome. And
Serotonin is the name of it, right?
yeah. It's up on everywhere.
SoundCloud, Spotify.
Yeah, iTunes, everywhere. Yeah.
title, probably.
Yeah, serotonin. That's that title.
Yeah. No. Title.
Yeah,
The
title.
streaming service.
I
Yeah.
always like. I've
Jay-Z.
never used that before.
Yeah.
That's one.
And, well, before you get
I never met anyone that used this title either.
Yeah.
But
And-
it's up there.
and before you get more into it, do you want to tell our audience, me, Dylan, I'm sure Ryan knows, but how did you fall into being a musician? You know, like what inspired you? And Ryan, you can answer the question after. Then again, you always had,
He's been there
abilities.
way longer than me.
Ryan's always
Yeah.
had abilities.
Yeah, way longer than me. I don't know. I think just kind of I got really into music really late
Yeah.
in my life, like around 20. I started like really like appreciating other people's music, and I kind of exploited that and got really into it. And then I felt like I got to a point where I'd kind of listened to everything that I
Right.
wanted to listen to, and I couldn't really get anything new, and I just wanted to start.
Was there a specific moment or something that that lit the fire?
Yeah, I
beneath
mean,
you that really escalated your
not really.
interest.
It was a slow build for sure, and it was also just kind of like being around people that are in music, So like having friends that are already established, like him,
Ryan.
and other people that I knew that were just like already kind of doing it, and I was like,
Right.
I feel like I could do this. I want to do this. Like this looks intriguing, and also just kind of like I don't know. Like I never like have any expectations. I just wanted to do it. It just seemed like something I wanted to do. So yeah, after listening to music and getting really into it at a late age, and then appreciating that, and then trying to replicate it from somewhere.
I remember going to your house at Chesapeake Beach. Was that your house? Yeah, your house, right?
Yeah.
Whose birthday was it? Michael's? Yours?
Sounds maybe.
One of the
Probably yours. Yeah, probably
Very
yours.
mine.
one of the Cha guys. Anyways, I remember talking with you, and you started talking about music and brought up the Doors, and
Yeah. The Doors were huge. Like that's one of the bands that really got me kind of into it was the Doors. Like
Nirvana.
yeah, Nirvana for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I remember.
shout out to the guy behind the lens with Nirvana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Nirvana.
I
They're pretty good.
mean, I remember. And the thing is that you've always been into music, though. I mean, like you always have listened.
I've always
I remember,
liked it. I just
Yeah,
I
yeah.
never really like.
Like, I remember
appreciated
being
it.
able to talk to you about it, and like I kind of grew up. Obviously.
John
like,
Bon Jovi.
Yeah, oh, dude, Bon Jovi.
Oh my! I remember middle school car rides.
Dude, we
Always.
loved Bon Jovi. No, but obviously, like I mean, also shout out to Miss Bone too. I mean, like she brought us up doing all that stuff.
And you got to play music during school. That's insane.
But like that's kind of how like I kind of got started, and then I remember always being able to like we went up to that trip to Maine, and like I was like, dude, you gotta listen to the Foo Fighters. And you're like, I don't know, they're hard rock. I mean, at that time you were listening to Elton John.
I just was not fun. Yeah. I loved Elton John.
And then you start listening to the Foo Fighters, and I was like, all right, so the guy singing, he drums in another band. Once we got into high school, I was like, you gotta listen to Nirvana, and you're like, I don't know, man. I was like,
and I listened to him, and I was like,
Nirvana
really
Unplugged.
Yeah.
That was what kind of got you.
No, that was the first. Yeah, no, that hit me really hard for sure.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have found it if I hadn't been suggested to listen to it. But yeah, like when I first listened to that, I was just like, what the, like I don't know, like I just didn't really, I never experienced anything even close to that before, so that really hit me.
I mean,
hard for sure.
The fact that Nevermind is top 10 albums of all time on the Rolling Stones list is unreal. I mean, you talk about a band, and this isn't an hour of Nirvana, so I know, but they are that influential to so many people and that good.
They're great, yeah.
But I mean, they turned music into something else that no one's ever seen.
Yeah, for sure. And that whole like shift of kind of attitude and just like almost a shift in genre. Like when they did that concert.
Exactly. I mean, and the thing is that I mean, like I feel like you kind of came at it from like a lyrics point of view.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I mean, because I remember when we first started talking about like doing music and stuff, I was like, you became an English major, and I was like, well,
because I was about writing. And
when
I got into music,
write me some lyrics, man, and then so we collaborated on some stuff.
Yeah.
And then
he would music to my lyrics. And I would just, I mean, in the beginning, I was just like literally like,
which we should probably record that at some point.
Yeah, we should. I would just kind of like send him just like a poem basically.
Yeah, I mean,
and then you just make a song out of it, and I'll just be like, that's really cool. I want to try and like do that in some way.
Yeah,
and
myself,
and that's tough to do because a lot of musicians will kind of create a riff or some type of melody, then add the lyrics to it.
Yeah. And a lot of what I do.
Exactly.
It's way more difficult to add
lyrics.
music to the lyrics.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I was just throwing in all these lyrics at him, and he was putting music to it, which was part of the like getting me into it.
But it gets easier when you start to. I mean, like, and the thing is, I mean, you picked up guitar in a year. I mean, like, I went off to college.
I'm still so shitty, but basic.
But like after a year, like I came back and I was like, dude, you can actually like. Like that took me at least 4 years to like get to where you were in a year. So that was cool.
No, I definitely when I finally did it, I took it seriously.
Honestly, just that's a perfect segue into the next segment. Let's talk about your album a little bit, because I mean, when I texted you Tuesday, Tuesday at 12:30 at WRNR, I was in
this. That at 3 a.m. went to take a piss.
Well, I mean, I sent it at 12:30, not 3. But so I was alone, like in the whole place, and I put on your whole album, and was blown away. I mean, and the excitement too, because I know, like, I've known you personally, and I actually really enjoyed your music, the lyrics behind it, the sound, everything about it, and I don't know, that also was an aspect of why like I got even more excited. The fact that I would get in the car and be like, oh my god, I want to hear Jacob Jasper's song. And I mean that was a great feeling. And then I texted Brian.
That's the feeling that you want.
So I meant to say for him, because I mean, I guess it's a great feeling for me too, not being the artist, but so I texted him too, the 2 songs, Skyboy and Sweet Sunrises, love them. My girlfriend, like, the post I reposted on Facebook, one of her friends, after she reposted it, was texted her and said, this guy is incredible.
That's awesome.
And kind of a local musician getting the notoriety out there, people like generally loving your songs.
I think like the general reaction is good, but you also want to you want to push past that, right? Like you want to get so it is great, it really is, to hear like people that know me like it, and I think that's even more Um,
And it's cool. It's really cool when it's somebody who doesn't know you.
exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's ridiculous. But like, I think people that know me
It was just a bird.
are like more like reluctant to like it because
We're more reluctant to. It's one
like
or the other.
They will listen to it. And, like there's a higher percentage of people that will listen to it.
Yeah,
but they might not like it as much because it's like I know like
it's weird.
Right, it's
I mean,
weird. It's so weird.
Yeah, that happened with me, like with my parents, when like I would sing in a certain way, like if I was like rocking out or something like that, and you know, like I would get feedback from some other people who didn't know me. I'm like, man, that sounds great. You know what I mean? Yeah. But my parents had never heard my voice sound like that before.
Like that doesn't. That's
not you. That's weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's weird.
Yeah.
And so getting an honest reaction from people is hard sometimes.
It's really hard, especially like like you say, like people react well to it, and that's true. Like I and also you don't hear the bad reaction. Like no one's gonna be like, I listened to your album, it was fucking terrible. Like no one's gonna say that, but like people that do react to it are are generally positive, so that's good. But it's also like you want to push it as far as it can go. Yeah.
The big thing is too, just the content was very relatable to.
That's right. Yeah.
I want to say anyone between the ages 15 to 28 ish. I mean, Sweet Sunrise. I mean, right from the start, grab your attention with the vocals, with the melody. Then that guitar solo was so goddamn smooth.
Yeah, it's a great solo. That wasn't me. I don't want to take credit for that, but
it was so smooth.
That was a guy named Ryan Moran. Yeah, he's amazing. He's so good that it's like, and we work together, like all three of us.
I mean he's the lead guitar player in the band.
Yeah, and we work together all the time. So it's like we all have our individual projects. We're always working on our we're always helping each other.
Right.
So it'd be ridiculous for me to play the guitar when he's there. Because it's just
of course
it's great.
I'm just picturing you like playing it with him, like watching you, and you just saying to him, I just feel like a jackass doing this. Like, can you just do this? So like you're just that much better,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So that's not the part that I feel like a jackass about. The part that I feel like an asshole is when so he's always down to play it. And then I'm always like, can you do this melody? Like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Can you just play this part? Because I can't do it, but...
Sing it for him.
Yeah, and I hum it out for him.
Okay, well, let me figure out how that goes. It's like, well, wait a minute. Come on. Like, let's get this show on the right. It's like, okay, I got to figure it out.
Yeah, he gives me like a bit of an eye roll, and then he plays it perfectly.
That's never happened to me when I worked with keyboard with you. Never.
Everyone, I have good news. We are about to play 2 of Jacob's songs for you. We have Someday... and we have Sweet Sunrises. Enjoy.
Give me sweet sunrises, and can you make it feel the same? Give me breathing time after I know the claim. Give me leader, soul leader. Can you serenade it more? And give me breathing time in the morning, girl, before you go. And every sweet sunrise that you see, that you just can't take home. I hope he's not like me. I hope he loves you more. And give me sweet, before the storm. Tell me what you want. That's what I want. Making awesome someday shit. Pasting on the letter wasted another goodbye at the bottom. At the bottom, can you feel
Welcome back, everyone. I'm sure everyone enjoyed Sweet Sunrises and Someday. Two great songs off of a tremendous album, Serotonin. You can find it on Jacob Jasper's SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify. So, both of you being from Southern Maryland, can you explain or describe the local music scene there?
Yeah, so the Southern Maryland music scene, it's pretty vibrant. I mean, like there's a lot of really fantastic
For sure.
artists that play all around. From basically Annapolis down to St. Mary's, and St. Mary's County, and it's mostly a country music scene down there. So I mean, and I mean, you can probably speak to this a little bit. I mean, like it is a little bit more challenging for I think an alternative artist.
Yeah.
In like just right now. I mean, like back in the day,
expectation is kind of country.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and that's not as bad thing. I mean, like I the stuff that I do with my solo stuff is more along that genre anyway, the country genre. But I do think that most listeners down in Southern Maryland, they are very open to hearing new things. And like they like their local artists. They're very passionate about them. In my opinion, anybody can kind of get along in the Southern Maryland music scene, and they're very open to different genres. Even though it is more country.
I think there's a country connotation, but it is also like very accepting to
other things.
Yeah, and like any genre can kind of play as long as it's like you find people in Southern Maryland that listen to hip hop.
Yeah,
you find them listening to country, they're all over. So it's just like, it is a very accepting place.
Which is, I mean, that's kind of why we have the musical tastes that we do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is
and
because
there's a bit of everything.
I mean, I remember
everything.
When we were little, we listened to Toby Keith. You know what I mean? Like, and when we got older, we listened to Eminem. You know what I mean? Right. So I think all of that stuff kind of comes out in the music. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
You know what? Don't take this question personally. It's just a question I had, and I'm sure everyone was thinking out there too. You get really into a song on your new album, Serotonin, and then after about 2 minutes, it ends, and you're thinking to yourself, come on, like really, like
Why can't I have more?
Yeah.
And then want more, Jacob.
So then I found myself just like repeating it like 3 times.
Hear that hook again.
And I don't mean this as an insult. I mean this as kind of, being a huge fan of your new songs that came out. What's how come every song was 2 to 2:30 long?
I don't know. I mean, I think most of my songs actually are pretty short. And I think that art in general, like movies, kind of books and everything, are just like a bit too. Like, I don't want to overstay my welcome, And I think that a lot of times they do that, especially with songs, like a 4-minute song is just too much. I think you can get across your point and hit the chorus way before that, So I think that, I don't know, the extended process is just a bit too much. So I just tend to lean towards shorter songs. It's just a personal preference. That's all it is. Yeah.
I mean, now that you explained it, I can definitely see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But as you're growing as an artist and lyricist, do you think that'll change eventually? Do you think when you you're going to keep growing as an artist, do you think that'll ever change?
Yeah, so, I mean, there was a couple of songs that were like 3.5 minutes. I think there was like 2 or 3. And I felt like that was like really long, Like, I felt like
the first album had longer songs too.
Yeah, for sure. And like, I think on the newest one, there were 2 or 3 songs that were probably over 3.5 minutes, and I was just like, this needs to. I don't know. I think that it needs to kind of wrap up. It needs to, like, you hit the chorus and you hit the message, and then it needs to kind of wrap up. And then there's always a time where it's like with a lot of songs, it kind of plays the chorus just like too many times for me. When I'm listening to the radio,
right.
It's just like 2 minutes.
I mean,
and we do it live. We extend the songs,
right? Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
So that's the thing. It's like if the audience is grooving, we're not going to stop the audience.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's an artistic choice, and
right, especially for the.
I definitely respect that.
To be like as concise as possible. I don't know. So it's gonna sound corny, but I kind of just I follow what the song is kind of just. I feel like what it needs, and if it doesn't need anything more, then I just end it. So I think there's a lot of, especially when you're making pop music, like if you're intentionally making a song that should fit pop music, you have to have a certain amount of choruses, and it has to be a certain amount of like length, So I just I don't like that, and I just try to. If it feels like I've said what I need to say and I got the whatever across, then that's the end of the song.
And the cool thing is that, I mean, like, it's the thing that I got, like, I listened to the whole album on the way here.
Yeah.
I could listen to the whole album on the way here, and I listened to most of the other ones.
Minutes.
You know what I mean? And the thing is that
this is very true.
Yeah. And so the cool thing is, like, in our society nowadays, it seems to me like a good way to bring back the full album. Everybody's releasing singles. Nobody listens to full albums anymore.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They used to with the Beatles. You know what I mean? They'd listen to the whole thing. But so
a shorter album is more approachable.
Yeah, I mean, you can listen to the whole thing at once.
Listen to it in one drive. It's 25 minutes.
This is very true, and I mean, I'm happy you cleared that up because, like I said, it wasn't an insult towards you, but
I didn't take it as insult. I also just like I've definitely heard that before, and I've also just like tried to process it, and I don't know why I kind of tend towards shorter songs, but I do.
So Jacob, tell everyone one more time where they can find your new album.
Yeah, so anywhere really, anywhere you can stream music, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, anything, YouTube, it's all up there. So yeah, check it out.
And
type in Jacob Jasper anywhere.
And he's got 2 other albums too.
Yeah.
Check out all 3.
There's a bunch of stuff. So
yeah,
check it out.
where are you playing next?
We're playing at the Flash next.
Where's the Flash?
That's DC, downtown DC. It's a club in DC.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you know the date?
We'll be there end of October. So
27th.
Yeah, 27th.
Is there a way people can find that somewhere? Like, can I go to? Like, do you have a?
Yeah. So I mean, Honestly, I mean, I post everything on Instagram, so follow me on Instagram. Jacob Jasper, 1007 on Instagram, and yeah, we'll keep you updated for sure.
And seriously, you need to listen to his new album.
Yeah, appreciate that.
And Ryan, how about you? When are you playing next?
Shoot, I have to look at my calendar. I'm playing very soon at a number of different places. That's my politician answer.
There we go.
So
you can go to my Facebook page, Ryan Webster
Sure,
Musician. I'm the one from Southern Maryland, not the one from Illinois. And
There's an Illinois guy?
there's a couple of Ryan Websters.
Oh, right.
So, but yeah, just you can look Ryan Webster and Dollar Store Fire. I got a number of different gigs coming up. Yeah.
Well, thank you both, and thank you to everyone that tuned in. A special thanks to Jacob and Ryan for coming on, and to our director, producer, and co-creator Dylan for making sure things ran smoothly today. Definitely a big shout out, and a final shout out to Brian Kelly, our other producer / co-creator, who couldn't be here today, but definitely worked his ass off for this podcast today. As for me, I'm your host, Connor Kelly, and this has been the Waves of the Chesapeake Podcast. Next Monday on the Waves of the Chesapeake Podcast, I interview Carrie Newman from 103.1 WRNR. We discuss how she became one of Maryland's best DJs, her activism as a feminist, plus advice to all beginning musicians and aspiring DJs. Remember, hey, my, rock and roll will never die.